10 most feared Egyptian gods and what they did to humans. Before kings wore crowns and before empires rose from the sand, Egypt belonged to its gods. They walked the earth as storms, lions, and rivers, divine forces that demanded fear as much as faith. To live under their gaze wasn't superstition, it was the price of existence. When the gods got angry, mortals paid the price. These are the 10 most feared Egyptian gods and what they did to the humans who dared to cross them. If you're enjoying this journey into Egypt's darker side, a quick subscribe would mean a lot, and tell me which ancient worlds you want us to explore next. Number 10. Sobek, the crocodile of the Nile. To the Egyptians, the Nile was sacred. But beneath its calm surface lurked Sobek, half man, half crocodile, a reminder that nature could bless or destroy. Sobek was the living embodiment of the river, life-giver, protector, and devourer. Fishermen prayed to him before entering the water, hoping the crocodiles wouldn't drag them under. Entire crocodiles were mummified as offerings, a desperate plea for mercy. Yet even Sobek's temper paled beside the goddess who dared to challenge the sun itself. Number 9. Isis, the woman who stole a god's power. Isis wasn't feared for her strength, she was feared for her brilliance. When the mighty sun god Ra refused to share his secrets, Isis poisoned him with a serpent's bite. As he writhed in pain, she offered a cure, but only if he revealed his true hidden name. He did, and with that single word, Isis became the most powerful sorceress in Egypt. To defy her was to defy the very order of the cosmos. But even divine cunning has limits, especially when your brother is the god of chaos himself. Number 8. Seth, the Red Lord of the Desert. Seth was the storm, the scorched sand, the howling wind, chaos given form. He murdered his brother Osiris, dismembered the body, and scattered the pieces across Egypt. He ruled the barren lands where nothing grew, where the sun burned without mercy. To invoke Seth's name was to summon the desert itself, a god whose strength could protect you one moment and destroy you the next. Yet even he bowed in time to the eternal power of the sun, a god both worshipped and feared. Number 7. Ra, the sun that watched everything. Ra's light touched every stone, every field, every life. But even the sun grew weary of humanity's arrogance. When mortals rebelled against their creator, Ra unleashed his fury through the lioness goddess Sekhmet, whose thirst for blood nearly ended mankind. Only by tricking her with beer, dyed red like blood, did Ra save the remnants of his creation. The message was clear: the light that gives life can also burn it away. But if Ra ruled the day, another god waited in the darkness, measuring every human heart that entered his realm. Number 6. Anubis, the keeper of the scales. Anubis was neither cruel nor kind, only just. When you died, your heart was placed on a scale against the feather of truth. If your soul was pure, you passed into paradise. If it was heavy with sin, it was thrown to Ammit, the devourer of souls. There were no second chances, no forgiveness, only balance. To lie, steal, or kill in life meant eternal silence in death. Yet even Anubis served another power, a ruler whose throne stood beyond life itself. Number 5. Osiris, Lord of the Silent Land. Osiris was once a king who ruled with wisdom and compassion, but betrayal turned him into something greater and far more feared. Murdered by his brother, resurrected by his wife, Osiris rose again as the judge of the dead. Every soul faced him after death, and his verdict was final. To the living, he was hope. To the guilty, a nightmare that never ended. But beyond even death, chaos stirred, an ancient serpent that wanted to devour creation itself. Number 4. Apophis, the serpent of eternal night. Every night the sun sailed through the underworld, and every night Apophis waited. He was not a god, but a force, a colossal serpent born from pure darkness. His only purpose was to swallow Ra's sunboat and plunge the world into endless shadow. priests performed midnight rituals to weaken him, their chants echoing like shields against oblivion. Every sunrise was proof that once again the serpent had failed. Yet not every monster hid in the dark. Some walked among humans, wearing the face of a lion. Number 3. Sekhmet, the goddess who could end the world. Sekhmet was the embodiment of divine rage. When she was unleashed upon mankind, rivers ran red and cities vanished in fire. Her breath was said to create the desert winds. Only when she drank the blood-colored beer and fell asleep did the slaughter stop. Even gods feared her fury, because when Sekhmet opened her eyes, nothing could stand in her path. But creation had its architects too, and one of them shaped the world with nothing more than thought. Number 2. Ptah, the maker of worlds. Ptah did not roar or rage, he spoke, and with his words, existence began. He was the mind behind matter, the silent craftsman who molded gods, men, and mountains. But if his words built the world, they could just as easily unmake it. Ptah's voice was creation itself, a whisper that could change reality. Yet even he stood beneath one final name, a god so vast, so hidden, that even the other gods trembled before him. Number 1. Amun-Ra, the hidden sun. He was the unseen force behind every breath of wind and every spark of light. Amun, the invisible one, merged with Ra, the bringer of light, becoming Amun-Ra, king of the gods and master of all creation. He was called the one who cannot be known. Pharaohs claimed descent from him, and entire dynasties rose in his shadow. To defy him was to challenge the foundation of existence itself. Even the mightiest gods were but fragments of his light. The Egyptians didn't just fear their gods, they understood them. Power, chaos, rebirth, they weren't stories, they were truths written in stone and sand. Because in their world, the line between mortal and divine wasn't a wall, it was a reflection. If you enjoyed this journey through Egypt's darkest myths, subscribe to Loop Through Time, where we bring history's legends back to life. Tell me in the comments, which Egyptian god do you think humanity feared most?